Welcome everyone back to our weekly webinar for the 30-day challenge on my sustainable plate. I hope everyone is enjoying the challenge and also enjoying our weekly webinar. And today I think it's the third one and we have two more to go. And as usual, Alvin and myself will be host today. And I see familiar names and then I see some new friends as well. Welcome everyone. And just to reiterate, the reason why we're doing the challenge is because we not just only want to tackle climate change and then build a sustainable food system, but to build a strong habit for each one of us little by little to accumulate that small actions into big impacts, and also not just doing stuff, but with love and compassion, sorry. And this is the agenda for, the whole journey that we have been through together. And today is our, as I mentioned, actually the fourth session. We will be doing a little connections, reflect, and learn. Today we will learn about zero hunger. We have a special guest here today. And also a special announcement for the last session. We will change the date to November 15th, which is actually the 30th day. That's the end of our challenge. And in addition to celebration, we will be welcome another special guest. She is right now actually in COP26, which is an annual United Nations climate change conference this year held in Scotland, Glasgow, I think, and she will be coming back on that day and then sharing with us her experience in the COP26. So it will be a very interesting sharing, and I'm sure we will all learn a lot from her, and I hope to see you here again next week. And this is today's agenda. It's still going to be reflect, connect, and learn. And today we will do the reflection first, and I'm so happy to show you about the group process, group progress like usual. And this is how much we have achieved as a group. Total to 667 actions. I remember last week when we meet together at the same time, it was 480 something. So over a week, the number has grown for almost 200 actions. As usual, Eat Ramble action is still the most popular one. And then we also see SDG 12, which is responsible consumption, production, growing actions in that area, climate change as well. Since today's focus is zero hunger, and you can see there are 66 zero hunger actions has been completed. And here it gives you a breakdown as usual about the completion of each small actions. Okay, so now let's move on to zero hunger, learning from our special guests. I'm so happy to introduce you our special guest today, Renee Chow. She's a social worker and charity service development program manager at Tzu Chi Foundation, and she observed and analyzed social issues from perspectives of sociology. And he also worked on at the front line of Tzu Chi charity missions. Is she here? Hi, Renee. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I will give the floor to you, and you can feel free to share your screen and start your share.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Renee. I'm a social worker and program manager at Tzu Chi USA headquarters. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I would like to thank you all for attending this presentation about zero hunger. I have divided my presentation into 3 parts. I'm going to start with the fact about hunger in America. Then I will talk about what and how hunger with different meanings in America. Then it does internationally. And finally, what expectation we have got now. Okay. First of all, I would like to share this video with you.
I have one daughter.
My daughter is 16 and my son is 11.
I have one child. He is 9 years old. His main hobby would have to be Minecraft. He loves his Minecraft.
She is really interested in art.
We never worried about food. We were never in the situation that we're in right now.
The company decided that we were going to switch over from full restaurant operations and to just carry-out. All of the hourly employees got laid off except for the managers.
As a school teacher, of course, the schools were closed. It's just been a rough time with employment.
My job stopped. I got laid off.
I was furloughed from both of my jobs.
It was the first time I was really wondering if we would be homeless. And it was the second time that we had dealt with wondering if we would have enough food to put on the table.
You feel like a failure as an adult. You work hard and you strive, and then a bad series of circumstances keeps you down. It's awful, man. It's really, really crappy.
I was working very hard, and although the circumstances were out of my control, I have failed in being financially secure for my son.
I feel like the uncertainty of everything is just really getting to me, and it's worrying me, and where the money's going to come from, where the food's going to come from. Even talking about it's making my chest hurt.
Being in a society where a lot of times we don't think about food, for many of us, you don't realize what you do have until you don't have it.
Yes, I have skipped bills to make sure we have money for food. I'm definitely going to make sure my kid can eat rather than pay the rent.
So we had to apply for SNAP because I wasn't working. And that was a godsend, really.
Our school district continued to provide lunches, which was a huge relief.
The hunger in America often goes invisible. Being a teacher, I see the effects of that on children.
I want people to realize that people who don't have money can be used at any time.
The COVID-19 pandemic shined a spotlight on the shortcomings within the country's social safety net, including the case of food security. In 2020, at the end of March, the order shelter-in-place caught us completely off guard. I respond to the request via phone for food assistance every day. Sometimes people call and ask me, "Can you speak in Spanish?" And I only can say, "No hablo español." So the most sorrowful part happened. Sometimes the little child or youth had to translate for their parents. They were burdened over what they should do. I had ever asked them, "How old are you?" They say, 5. Can you imagine that? When you were only 5 years old, you had to worry about there was no food for your family. Does hunger issue only sustain during pandemic? Let the data speak. In 2018, 1 in 9 Americans were food insecurity, equating to over 37 million Americans, including more than 11 million children. Hunger is often hidden, but that doesn't mean it isn't here. Let us see this video.
Every year, millions of working American families and their children hide their struggle with hunger. But just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. With over 72 billion pounds of food going to waste each year, it doesn't need to be that way. Feeding America is a network of 200 food banks, 60,000 food pantries, and 2 million volunteers. We work with farmers, retailers, and manufacturers to get people the food they need. Hunger hides, but we can help. Let's end.
Hunger is often hidden. In 2018, when I supported Tzu Chi scholarship program, I really sentenced and broke my heart. I didn't remember how many nights I went to sleep with my empty stomach. Our family suffered from financial shortage because of the immigrant status of my parents. Plus, according to the latest estimate, as many as 13 million children in the United States live in food insecure homes. So, hunger issue, of course, is a real issue in this country. Okay, let us see who face hunger in United States. We can see African American child, Latino, Native American, rural, senior. Almost. It is possible to happen. Every group. I would like to introduce you. Even in pandemic, we try our best for this country, for the people in need. We do distribution in food and hot meal. You can see the amount, what we do, what we try to do, even in pandemic during the COVID-19. It's huge amount, I know. Secondly, hunger definitely means something different in America than it does internationally. Another big problem that we all know about is obesity. That's pretty dramatic. For our own country, both hunger and obesity have really risen in the last 30 years. The numbers are pretty crazy. There are 1 billion people obese or overweight, and 1 billion people hungry. So those seems like two bifurcated problems. But I kind of start to think about what is obesity and hunger. What are both those things about? Well, they were both about food. And when you think about food, the underpinning of food in both cases is potentially problematic agriculture. In America, a lot of what we eat has led to obesity and has led to a real change in short of what our diet is in the last 30 years. It's crazy. 1/5 of kids under 2 drinks soda. Hello, you don't put soda in bottles, but people do because it's so cheap. And so our whole food system in the last 30 years has really shifted. So, thirdly, we are going to talk about the solution, or we can say exploitation. In one generation, they are going from hunger and all of the detrimental health effects of hunger to obesity and things like diabetes and heart disease in one generation. So the problematic food system is affecting both hunger and obesity. Not to beat a dead horse, but this is a global food system where there are 1 billion people hungry and 1 billion people obese. Instead of taking these two things as bifurcated problems that are very separate, it's really important to look at them as one system. We got a lot of our food from all around the world, and people from all around the world are importing our food system. So it's incredibly relevant to start a new way of looking at it. I think by aligning international advocates that are addressing hunger and domestic advocates that are addressing obesity, we might actually look for long-term solutions that will make the food system better than everyone. We can talk about holistic, long-term, systematic solutions that will improve food for everyone. Well, to sum up, if that bag of chips then become inherently more expensive than an apple, then maybe it's time for a different sense of personal responsibility in food choice, because the choices are actually choices instead of 3/4 of the products being made just from corn, soy, and wheat. So healthy, hunger-free. Before the ending, I'm going to present what we do in charity mission. We are grateful that the people in need open the door of their mind and have us into their life story. You can see what we do. I appreciate the time you took to listen to my presentation and this serious issue that affects us, all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Renee. I have a question for you. So I've been to some volunteer events. One of them is homeless canvassing. So knowing that a lot of homeless also suffer from hunger, then in New York City, with other Tzu Chi volunteers, we did go out and then distribute food and then other stuff, put it into a bag to help them. Anything you would suggest when we prepare food for the homeless people?
Thank you for your question. It's a very good point, and it's very good action supporting the homeless people. And when we deliver assistance to them, please move your feet to their shoes. I mean, no matter you deliver the food, how expensive or how fresh, please remember they are homeless. They cannot cook the fresh food. So, I mean, when you deliver assistance to the people in need, you have to think the position they stand. So for the homeless people, you have to provide the food they can easily eat, like even the canned food. You have to think about, did they have tools to open the can?
Thank you, Renee. Wondering anyone have any questions? I'm sure Renee is happy to answer.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Dahi.
Thanks, Renee. Thank you so much for your presentation. That was actually really moving. And I think this is actually my first time hearing a webinar on zero hunger. So I understand that, people can participate in those volunteering events, but you also mentioned about like healthy eating and, not wasting food. I guess I might have just answered my own questions, but like, what are some ways that people can sort of promote zero hunger when they may not be necessarily like volunteering at these events, especially when you like touched on like, obesity. I'm not obese, but like when you touch on obesity and like looking at all the food pictures, like I certainly go out to brunch and like order a lot and I might not finish the food. Like what are some ways that people can promote it, be mindful when they may not be necessarily like participating in these volunteering events, like, on a day, maybe like a day-to-day aspect.
So thank you for your question. I guess we can start from ourselves. I mean, small change can change the world, right? The words right down in our bamboo bank. I mean, in Tzu Chi's bamboo bank, small change can change the world. So we can start everything from ourselves, then that our family, our friends see the changes happen in ourselves. Then we are the most powerful experience to let them know why you have to change your eating habit, why you have to change the food choice. Yeah, so we can start from ourselves.
Just a reminder, you can also type your question in the chat. And we do have a comment from Valerie, and Valerie says, great sharing, Sister Renee.
Thank you. Thank you, Valerie.
I wonder any of our young volunteers have any questions? I know a lot of them are here. And maybe not questions, maybe comment, any reflections, anything you wanted to share, because this is like an open space right now.
I do have a quick comment. So my sister is a special ed teacher in New Jersey, and I know that during COVID, like the one problem was that parents lost jobs, so they didn't have money to, provide food for their children. But also another issue that a lot of the kids actually relied on the school system, because a lot of them actually get like free lunch if they're especially part of this like a food assistance programs. But the fact that school was closed was like an aggravated issues for a lot of students.
I have another question, Renee. I wonder, what do you think are the most difficult, challenging right now for whether food banks or other assistance to the community regarding ending hunger? Any challenge that you experience and you see?
Okay, so for example, in Haiti, of course, they got serious hunger issue there, but also in America, we have hunger issue, we have food waste issue, and we have obesity issue. So, I mean, the food is enough to feed this world, but we waste the food, and we don't want to share the resource to the people who is really in need, who are really in need. So maybe that is why the hunger sustained in this world. So if we are going to think about this, I believe the technology issue, like the late shipping, they will solve this problem. But the most important is our mind and our heart. Are we willing to share the resource to other people who in need? So just like when we present the story about our bamboo bank, I'm not sure if everyone know the bamboo bank's story. The bamboo bank, we save the small money in the bamboo bank. Why we say small money? Because that the most important part is good thinking comes to our mind. I don't have bamboo bank around me. Okay, we have bamboo bank in Tzu Chi, and we call that bamboo bank because the original is bamboo, but now we call it just like a piggy bank. We keep money, maybe like 1 penny inside per day. And when I save the penny inside, then I will think about this is for the children without lunch, or maybe this is for the child without shoes, or this is for back to school supplies. It's about good thinking comes to your mind every day. And every time when I present this story, I will let them know when it's full, you can just give this bamboo bank to the neighborhoods who in need, or give the church, or give the homeless people. If you are willing to let a hope and good thinking around the world, there must be some change happen.
Yeah, I think it's very true. Thank you, Renee, for your powerful sharing. The true challenge is within ourselves. It's not other people, it's us, our own mind. If we can start from ourselves, have good thoughts every day, and start from small little things and build up this habit of good action and good thoughts, and then starting from ourselves, try to influence other people around us, and that could create a bigger difference in the world. And that actually resonates with the purpose of our 30-day challenge. That was exactly what we are calling everyone to do. And also thank you for connecting to this as well.
Of course.
Mhm.
And one more thing is maybe education. I mean, not the officially education. Please share these thoughts to the people you know. I mean, the 30 days challenge, the good thinking can change everything to the people around you.
Yes. Valerie, do you want to share what you just posted in the chat?
Oh, hi everyone. Sorry, my camera is not working well today. But yeah, I wanted to share that. So the Stanford group, we have one of our officers. She's also part of what Stanford calls like a club that does food recovery. And our Northwest region also started a long time ago, many years ago, a volunteer program where we also do food recovery. The idea is basically for Northwest region, we go to Panera Bread and we pick up their end of day bread, and then we deliver it to the people who are food insecure, or to shelters, or to food banks. Yeah, and Stanford food recovery is also they take food that are extra from cafeteria or from different parts of like the Stanford community, and then also like make sure that those food can be provided to people who are in need of food. Yeah, and during COVID, there's 2 sophomores last year. They are, I think they have background in computer, in writing computer programs. So they did this farm link program that they try to connect a lot of the farmers who, because during COVID, I think there was a lot of food that was getting wasted, and then make sure to connect them to food banks who were overwhelmed and didn't have enough food. And I think they also earned some kind of award for that this year or end of last year. So I think there's a lot of good things that young people can also do, and example food recovery is one of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this sharing, Valerie. Stanford, I think it's also famous for Stanford social innovations. And that gives our young audience here and everyone here some inspirations of in terms of what we can do, and especially linking it probably to your own expertise, your own passions. There are a lot of things that we can do in addition to your own personal actions, maybe some innovative solutions to help with the ending world hunger. Thank you, Valerie. We have a little bit more time today, and I mean, Renee is so nice to stay with us for, I think it was almost 30 minutes, and thank you so much. And we're still open for questions and comments. If anyone have. Catherine, program in NYC. Oh, that's really interesting. Catherine, do you want to share?
Hi, I'm in the New York area, and I think during COVID, I'm hearing more young people who created this program at first, but then, gradually, they actually have, enough effort to, almost every corner you would see container, or people are very creative, like even put outside of a refrigerator. And if people have leftover fruits, they will put it in, and then the homeless will be, really graciously to pick up those food. So I'm just suggesting that you may want to look into your community.
So in Tzu Chi, we do this kind of program before pandemic. We took the food, I mean, back from the school district, like apple, orange, and we reuse this food in food distribution. So we take the food from the people they don't need that and deliver to the people who need that. So just like Catherine said, you can find this kind of program in your community, like Valerie and Catherine present to us.
Okay, so just to remind you, our Instagram account is UCHIYL, and if you still haven't followed us, please do so, because we always announce what's coming up here, some interesting information about climate change, about SDGs, and what events we're going to host coming up. So it will be a really good resource to get all the updates from us. And also don't forget to support our campaign. Finally, thank you so much. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, everyone who joined us today. And also thank you if you are watching the recording.